What you came here for was for us to talk about bots. And so maybe you didn't. Maybe you're just like, what's the topic? And now I'm telling you, it's about bots. Now, what are we talking about? Why bots? Why today? Why is this an issue? Bots have been around for a very long time. Very long time, actually, in a variety of formats, but they have only recently, probably in the last year and a half, 2 years, become really accessible to small business owners. And what I wanted to talk about today, because bots have become so accessible, I've been seeing them being used by small business owners, some of them successfully, others of them less so. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about bot usage and how you could maybe start using them in a way that was going to be really useful for your business, especially if you are a solopreneur or someone with a really small team. Like a lot of the small business owners who we work with, small teams mean that you need to focus your attention, and that attention, as I am constantly telling you, should not be on marketing all the time, because that's not your job. Your job is to run your business, and marketing is supposed to support you in that, not be your other full-time job while you're running your business. That said, how do we integrate bots into running our business? I'm going to talk about the one bot that we are all really familiar with, and then we'll talk a little bit about other types of bots. Before I even talk about the bot we're familiar with, let me define what a bot is, because there are some people probably going, but Lindsay, what's a bot? So a bot is an automatic responder, essentially, that you use on your website. Most people, you can use bots other places, especially if you have apps that you're working with, but most people are using a bot on their website. They usually show up in the corner of the website, and a bot is, very specifically in this day and age, a bot is meant to be responsive, meaning that the bot is either having its own conversation or it's beginning a conversation between you and the website visitor for your website. So a bot is meant to either give a whole complete conversation, meaning it's supposed to lead someone through a sequence, or it's supposed to start them on a sequence that they can then finish with a human. So the one bot that most people are familiar with nowadays is Facebook. Facebook has made it relatively easy for you to put a bot, the little Facebook Messenger circle on your website, so that anyone can start a conversation with you using Messenger. And it's great because then they are automatically identified as themselves, and your brand is automatically identified as your brand on your website. When they interact with you, they're interacting with your business Facebook page. And that is a beautiful thing, because it actually makes it so that it's very consistent, a very user-friendly brand experience. Now, why is this important? Why am I wanting to talk about Facebook? First of all, because the Facebook bot is so user-friendly. And there are so many content marketing systems. And when I say content marketing systems, I mean your website managers like Wix and WordPress and Shopify and Weebly, all of those website systems. A lot of them are integrating and making it easier for you to put a Facebook bot on your website. And with that, a lot of people are using it. And again, sometimes successfully, sometimes not so successfully. So let's talk about when you would want to use a bot and why it's going to be useful to your business. If you're using the standard comes with your website or widget that comes with your website builder, it's usually going to be set up with whatever automations you've already set up in Messenger. So if you set up a Messenger sequence, then the bot is going to, on your website, it's going to go through the same sequence that your people would go through if they were to Messenger your Facebook page. Very simple. The biggest issue is that most people don't change the sequence from Messenger on their Facebook page to Messenger on their website. So that's mistake number one, is that you can actually customize this experience, and most people are not customizing the experience. So people are having the same experience on their website that they would have if they were just messaging them on Facebook. This is not awesome. And then on top of that, a lot of people are not customizing the experience that someone is having on Facebook Messenger on Facebook. So the kind of automated experience is the one that people are having on your Facebook page. And then you take that same automated experience and you're putting it on your website when you don't have to. There are ways for you to change that sequence. Facebook actually has very easy steps to walk through in order to change your Facebook Messenger sequence for your business page. Again, this is only applicable for a business page. This is not applicable for your personal page. You cannot use a bot that goes to your personal profile on your website. That's not how it works. It has to be a Facebook page. I know I'm getting really technical, and I don't usually do that on Marketing Mondays anymore, but I thought this was a very important topic, and I wanted to make sure that you guys understand, if you are using bots right now, edit your bot so that it is not just the same standard message that Facebook created. Give it some sort of purpose that actually matters to you and your customer, okay? Make sure that the experience people are having is useful to both you and your customer, not just a standard experience that has nothing to do with what your customer is doing, which is hanging out on your website asking a question. So there's that. Number one thing, don't use the same standard thing that Facebook hands you. The secondary issue that I've seen people doing with bots on their website is that they're not attending the bot at all. The point of a bot is that it is a sequence that will essentially answer a question or walk someone through a solution. And you can do that if you have an idea of what the customer's experience is. I will give you an example of an event venue. So right now, people are starting to book events again, especially for towards the end of the year. We're all feeling very optimistic. Our numbers are going down. Life is beautiful. Yay. I'm pro real life. Like, I really want to get back out there and start doing stuff in the real world, even though I'm a crazy introvert who loves being in my house. We're going to get out into the real world. A lot of people are looking for events and event venues that they can host their events at. Well, if you are having an event venue, you may have a bot on your website that helps people walk through and figure out which event, like which of the spaces in your venue is the right one for them. So say you have, 3 or 4 different sizes of rooms that suit 50, 100, 150 different type, like those different sizes of guests. Maybe you have a specific room that has a stage attached to it and other rooms that don't have a stage. Maybe you have a room that has a bar and other rooms that don't have a bar. What your bot could do in that specific circumstance would be to ask people questions based on what you have to offer. So not asking them general questions, generic questions. You're going to ask them, are you looking for a space to hold an event? And then you might ask them, not what kind of event is it, because that's the beginning of a human conversation and you can't have that with a bot. You might ask them, how many people are you expecting at your event? Okay, when they say any number between 1 and 50, or you can even give them the option. That's the great thing about the bot. You can say, bot says 50, 100, 150, and then they get to choose 50, 100, or 150. There's a very easy path there. Then if they choose 50, you would have another set of questions, or you would simply say, these are the rooms that we have available for 50 guests. And then maybe have a description so they can click on each of those pages or each of those rooms, and then either go to that page on your website or get further information or have a way to contact someone about that specific room. So what a bot is meant to do is to help the user get to their answer in a way that is interactive instead of having them have to hunt on your website. Now, a lot of you have websites that are not awesome. Like, I know I've been to them, they're not awesome. And there isn't anything wrong with having a website that's not awesome. My website is not awesome. But having a bot gives you the ability to essentially overcome poor website design. So if you have a website that is not easy to navigate, that is not easy for people to use, you can actually use the bot as a way to help people get answers quicker than just trying to float around on your website. Now, what I've seen people doing, again, that example I gave is to get someone to the answer to their question, which is, I have 49 people and I need a room that is going to do X, Y, and Z. You point them directly to that page so that they can get more information. And then hopefully you have a call to action at the bottom of that page so that they can contact you or your business about that page. Or inside of your bot, even, you say, if you want more information or if you'd like to talk to someone about this room, go ahead and put in your email address and your phone number, and we will give you a call or we'll email you back within the day, within 24 hours. That is the way to handle a bot situation on a website. What I'm seeing people do, though, is maybe you've customized the bot, but you've customized it so that people have to get into a conversation with you. An example would be if you created a bot for your website, and on the bot, the second thing that people have to do, so maybe you do go through and you say, we have these types of rooms available, and they select the room and they read more about the room, and then it just says, if you want more information about the room, email us at this address. And you give them an email address. That is a completely reasonable thing to do. Now, the problem that I've seen is that people will provide an email address and then not respond. Not that that person will email you and then you don't respond to them, or you ask them to provide their email and you never check the bot. So this is the thing. You can't have a bot that's running that is getting interaction from people that you're then not checking. So if you don't have Messenger downloaded onto your phone with notifications, and even if you do, as a business owner, those notifications are relatively hidden. And so you need to make sure that you're always going into your business page. If you're using the Facebook Messenger, you're going into your business page and you're looking at your messages. Because if you're not looking at those messages, then you're missing out on anyone who has given you their email address or their phone number and is looking to connect with you about the whatever the event, whatever the thing is that you're offering. So the biggest issue that I'm seeing with people who are creating bots and putting them on their websites is not following through. So you have a bot on your website, you have a sequence on your website, but then you, as the small business owner, need to complete the sequence. And for the most part, as small business owners, we're not talking about completing the sequence on hundreds of people per week. There may be, if you're really lucky, you have 15 or 20 people who've gone through your bot in a week. There is no reason that you're not responding to all 15 of those people. If it's not within 24 hours, at least within a few days. And Facebook, as you know, actually gives you a marker, a like grade based on your ability to respond to your messenger messages. And so what it wants you to do is when someone gives you a message for you to respond, you really need to be thinking about that as a part of your bot strategy. Now, if you're using Facebook Messenger, that is relatively easy, because if you're on your Facebook page on a regular basis, Facebook is going to tell you, hey, you have a message, go ahead and respond. But if you're not on your Facebook page, or if, again, like I'm suggesting you be somewhere else running your business, if you're off doing other things, then you're going to really need to set a timer or some sort of reminder, a tracker to check that, so that bot does not go dormant, essentially, with lots of people contacting you and you not contacting any of them back. You want to make sure that messenger interaction actually becomes a real interaction, a real conversation at some point. That is how to use Messenger or a bot as an interaction or a conversation point on your website. Now, Facebook Messenger is only one of the many, many, many types of bots that you can use on your website. I suggest, if you're interested in getting into bots, that you start out with the Facebook one, mostly because it trains you to have better behavior. All of the other bot systems are going to require maintenance. And a lot of them are going to require a little bit of technology in order to set them up, a little bit of technical skill in order to get them started. Every single messenger bot out there, though, every single bot that is going to help you to create communication with your customers is going to require a conversation, which means you need to know what the customer wants to know. You need to be able to forecast that, and then be able to sequence out what that looks like for the customer. What is step one? What is step two? What is step three? And then give them some sort of call to action to resolve their problem, with you essentially ending up being the solution to their problem. That is what a bot is meant for. It's meant for you to essentially be able to have a conversation, even if you're not available to have that conversation. And for those of us who are small business owners and solopreneurs, it's quite possibly one of the best things that's ever happened to us. But when you're not using it properly, it essentially leaves anyone who is engaged with your business with a poor taste in their mouth. So make sure that if you're ready, if you're thinking about getting into bots, if you're thinking about getting a messenger bot on your page, if you've been toying around with it, that you are essentially giving yourself the best possibility of success by also including, as a point of adding it to your website, adding in that conversation, figuring out what that conversation is, and then from there, figuring out what your tracking mechanism is going to be, so that you make sure that you are always 100% on top of that bot. Because if you're not on top of it, the bot loses, essentially. It's worthless. So we have to make sure that we're doing our part so that our bot actually has the ability to function on our website and be useful to us.